Now, I said it. I'm not the only one saying it. I think he's got a real shot at the 53-man roster, but he's got to go out and show those same things.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana, I am Jenna Cottrell. Dan Fates back at the studio today. We appreciate it. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Okay. 5 players to watch ahead of the Bills' preseason finale against the Colts on Saturday. Let's start with the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. What is one guy you want to see on defense?
My guy. Everybody's guy, Joe Andreessen, right? You want to see how he does. He's got to follow up that great performance that he had. He put that tape out there. Now, I said it. I'm not the only one saying it. I think he's got a real shot at the 53-man roster, but he's got to go out and show those same things. And by the way, when you put that tape out there, teams aren't necessarily game planning for you at this point.
Yeah.
But there is notes they're taking. They know who he is. There's an offensive coach saying, we got to watch out for this guy. He's been making plays. Like, it's not the same thing as the regular season. Also, he has now set an expectation.
That's very true.
He has. So I want to see how he responds because, look, you want to make it in this league, it's got to be every week. You've got to be ready for it. So I'm very excited for him to see him. I think he's going to start. He's going to play a lot. And he's going to be doing it in Orchard Park.
I love it. You bring up the point about consistency, though, and that is such a huge piece of having a sustained career in the league. I think he's done a lot. That game against, I can't even remember, the Steelers on Saturday put a lot out there, a lot to like for other teams, a lot to like for the Bills. But at the same point, it's about continuing that, having sustained success. He's definitely my number one on Saturday. But let's also talk about a UB Bull, also UB Bull, and Jamarcus Ingram.
I love the way the guy plays. I like the physicality. He's one of those guys that, because there's so much attention to the other corners that have come to this team, he sort of took a step back, but you watch the way he plays. I saw him make a play at practice on Tuesday when there was a throw for Keon. It was on the sidelines. It was thrown in the right spot, and Ingram just got his hand up there and knocked it away. It was a physical play. No hands on Keon. It was all around. Good throw. Went up for it. Ingram knocked it away. I think he's got a confidence, too. I think he's playing with that. When we talked to him back at training camp, he said he's had to learn, this is what it is in the league. Come back, play after play. I think he's shown them a ton. I think he's that young backup that they want him to be. Yeah. And I think he'll get a lot of opportunities in the game on Saturday.
Yeah, that play you were talking about at practice on Tuesday, it was perfect defense. He was able to contain Keon and then right at the last moment put the hand up. Excellent play from him. And I think you're right. I think he's someone who's going to get a lot of play on Saturday and also someone who has built up confidence year after year. Fun to watch. Okay, offensive side of the ball. The guy I'm looking to, Ray Davis. We saw him with his pass-catching ability in the first game. We saw him with his running ability in the second game. I want to see in this third game him kind of bring everything together. We've seen his skill set. We've seen it at practice as well. We've talked about him being on the outside, his ability to catch passes, all that stuff. I think he had a really nice pop in that game against the Steelers, and I'm excited to see what he can do now with another opportunity because I think he's done a really good job of in moments having those flashes. I want to see more. We talk about it, consistency and how important that is. That is what I'm excited about from him. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I want to see him as, a number one back, even though he's not. Now, I'm not saying that because James Cook is the number one back, but I want to see him in that position when they put him out there on the field. He's gotten a decent amount of opportunities in the preseason, but to your point about every other player on this team, show it in flashes is great. When you show it, you constantly put it on tape in practice, you put it on tape on the field. I have really enjoyed watching him, and I do think he brings a different element than James Cook does. And we've wanted to see that in the backs. I want to see him in this opportunity. Again, when you look at how many starters play, about competition, to me, honestly, as I say all the time, preseason is about individuals, not about team. Go out there and perform. The guy on the other side is trying to fight to make a team, fight to play on a roster. So they're all going to, players are going to be out there giving their best. I want to see that in Davis, but I've enjoyed watching him. The things we always talk about, ball security, all those things. That has to be,
of course,
top of priority. but I think they have watched him develop. And for all this talk about, Sean McDermott and playing rookies, I think a lot of rookies are going to play, and I think Ray Davis is one of those that's going to play.
I agree. All right, another back, our fourth player to watch. A guy who didn't have a ton of run this preseason because of an injury, but Ty Johnson getting back out there. I think the Bills love what he did last year at the end of the season, how involved he got. What do you want to see out of him?
I think he plays with an edge to him. And I remember when he sort of burst out there last year when it was like, that's Ty Johnson. Oh, it's Ty Johnson. Like you noticed him on the field. Injury slowed him down a little bit. And I'm watching him at practice, bust through the line. And, there are times we joke about the plays in practice where it's like the running back keeps going and everybody's, fine, we can't tackle him. Play ends, Rasul Douglas, little fist pump. Then the next thing you know, it's Josh Allen on the sidelines, Mitch Trubisky. They recognize the way he ran. Does it mean anything in the big picture? No. I think guys root for Ty Johnson. Mm-hmm. I think Ty Johnson is a quality player, and this team is going to run the football this year. Yeah. So you need multiple guys that you can count on. I think he proved to be a guy last year that can play. I also think he's going to be a guy in the return game.
That's a great point.
Right, and so I want to see him get his opportunity Saturday, get himself ready, because I believe he's going to be that other, in whatever way they do the running backs, I think he's going to get a decent amount of opportunities.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, the fifth guy, Tyler Bass.
I know he's been perfect in the preseason. That's great.
Yeah, 5 for 5.
We're watching him at practice. What day was it? I guess it was Tuesday. We're watching him at practice. Ball wasn't coming off his foot great. I think I figured him for like 4 out of 7. It was in the 42 to 46, 47-yard range. Missed one wide right, another one, 2 of them wide left. The ball didn't seem to be popping off his foot. Now, we can read into things all we want. I'm watching him kick, and who's standing behind the kicker watching on the field? Brandon Beane. Now, I know he watches. He comes out here, he watches everybody at practice. I'm just saying.
So he has been 5 for 5 in the preseason.
Right.
A lot of those have been relatively easier kicks.
Yeah. Made the one tougher one in the rain, right? Okay.
But overall speaking, I think Saturday will be, that to me is a guy who could play a significant role on this team, what I'm going to be watching for. I also want to see if McDermott, how often on 4th down he's going to have Bass go out, or how often he wants the offense to try to sustain a drive. I would imagine he wants Tyler Bass to get a lot of run, but that'll be something. Yeah.
Whether Ben DiNucci can convert the 4th down play, nothing against Ben, because he may very well be the 3rd guy on this team, or, Anthony Brown, like whatever. I think more important is Tyler Bass is a starter who's playing in the game, right? Because they say the ones are out. Well, the number 1 kicker is kicking in the game. I just want to feel more confident watching him. And I don't feel that way watching him. Haven't felt that way at camp, at practice. I'm glad he's making the kicks in the game. Mm-hmm. But this team talks about, like they were talking about Keon Coleman, and they were saying it's not about his production in the preseason. Mm-hmm. We like what we see. Well, if you're going to say that about pass catchers and the way they play, then you got to say to yourself, okay, what do we see every day in practice and in camp? They may feel more confident. There's no other kicker here at the moment. I just think this team is going to play games that you guys all know, like last year, a lot of close games. They need him to be really good. They want him and need him to be good because they're still paying him a lot of money. I'll be watching.
What will it take for you to feel more comfortable going into the season?
I think, honestly, it's the way the ball comes off his foot.
Yes.
I had so much confidence in this guy for the longest time, and then it went away. And I thought, well, maybe it's some kind of injury. Maybe it's, sometimes it can be a little bit of the yips, but sometimes a kicker is dealing with something. Here we are now into the next year. Mm-hmm. He might come out in the regular season, be ready to go.
Wouldn't that be something?
Well, I think it would be big for them because right now, I don't know on the level of a concern it is for them, but
it's not nothing.
It's not 0. That is the case. So we'll see. That's what we have.
All right, we'll have plenty of post-game coverage on Saturday as the Bills hosting the Colts in the final preseason game of the summer. Kids Day, of course, the classic.
It's always Kids Day, isn't it?
I
meant for you and Dan.
I'll be on the field, so if the weather could be beautiful and sunny with a light wind, I would shout out Mother Nature. Would love that.
It's supposed to be beautiful. It rains or snows for Dan Fates.
Don't tempt fate, though.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll see. For Mike Catalana and Dan Fates, who's not here, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We always appreciate it. We'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel, presented by Connors and Ferris.